Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. Today I wanted to share a video on things that I've done with Lucy when she was a baby that made mine and Rudy's life so much more easier. I always get questions from new moms and even second-time moms that I'm friends with about things that I did for Lucy or am currently doing for Lucy that works for us, because they just need advice and I always love helping them. So I thought this video would be super handy for any new moms or even expecting second, third, fourth time moms. I feel like if I had came across a video like this while I was pregnant with Lucy, it would have been super handy. And all of these things, of course, I highly recommend, and they still work really well for us. The first thing is putting your baby on a schedule. I know it's a huge controversial thing about putting a newborn on a schedule, and I don't think you technically can. However, your baby is already somewhat on a schedule since you do need to feed them every 2 to maybe 3 hours. So that's already a schedule. From there, I started doing the eat, play, sleep with Lucy, and that worked so well. She was getting fed I know the first week or so, she was getting fed every 2, sometimes 3 hours, because she did have jaundice. But after that passed and she started to get a little bit older, she was eating every 3 hours or so, and then she would stay awake and then she'd go to sleep. And that is something that we learned from taking care of babies, so I do highly suggest her newborn course, and we just got so many great tips from there. Second is the binky. Lucy is a binky baby. She's loved it pretty much since the start and still loves it till this day. We have restricted it for only naps, like basically when she's sleeping, and car rides. When babies suck, it's like a soothing mechanism. So a binky really helps a baby soothe themselves because of the whole sucking part. In the beginning, it was a little bit challenging because if she were to spit it out, she would wake up and she'd fuss around because she wanted it back, and we would have to give it to her. But once she was unswaddled and had her hands out, she was able to put it back herself. As challenging as it was through that whole phase with her being swaddled and not being able to put it back, I do highly suggest it because it does have a lot of benefits. And I know the number one thing was it can help reduce the risk of SIDS. That was always a fear that was floating around in my head. It did give me a little bit of a peace of mind that it could help reduce the risk. But yeah, there's just a whole bunch of great benefits when it comes down to the binky. Do your research. We love it, and it helped Lucy, and it really does help soothe her and keep her asleep. When Lucy was a newborn, my favorite time to go out and run errands was just around her nap time. So she would always fall asleep in the car. I wanted to make sure that she would be able to sleep basically anywhere. Nowadays, it's totally different. She's a toddler. She's super alert. She's super aware. She just naps in her crib. But she does do really good when we do like have overnights elsewhere. She does have naps there pretty good. She doesn't sleep on the road anymore or anything like that. But when she was younger, I would always try to make sure that she could take naps while we were going out and running errands, and that way it wasn't restricting and we didn't always have to rush home to do nap time. So if we were out and about, she would usually sleep in her car seat, and we would just, take the car seat and put it on, attach it to the stroller. Sometimes at home when I was just, doing stuff, I would even wear her like in the Solly baby wrap. I loved wearing her, and it also like gave us such a great bond, and skin to skin. She was able to sleep there. So trying to get her to sleep anywhere was really handy, because again, we didn't feel like we had to rush home and put her in the crib and whatnot. Nowadays, as I said, it's totally different. She only does one nap, and it's about 2.5 hours, so she does mainly sleep in her crib. When she was younger, it was so nice being able to either hold her to sleep, wear her to sleep, or even have her sleep in the car seat as we are running errands, because we didn't feel quite restricted. One big advice I would say for any new parent or second time parent is get a baby app tracker. We use the Huckleberry, and we still use it till this day. So we didn't use it right when we got home with Lucy from the hospital. I think it took us about a week and a half to start using it. It's so good. It's such a great app. It keeps track of everything, how long your baby is napping, when your last feeding session was. If you nurse, which I used it a lot when I was nursing Lucy, specifically in the beginning, you can time how long she feeds on each breast. That's how I learned that she was a very fast and efficient feeder. So she would never be on the boob for like more than 5 minutes. I mean, it depended on the day, because sometimes she did go longer, but I know sometimes when I would be nursing her, it felt like she was just on the boob forever, and I would look at the timer and it had only been like a minute and a half, and it literally felt like so much longer. So having that tracker was really, really helpful. It also tracks how many wet diapers and poopy diapers that they have. I know in the beginning you need to kind of keep track of that stuff because it lets you know how much they're feeding, especially if your baby is breastfed. Love the app. Again, we still use it till this day. We use it mainly for her nap time, so we can kind of keep track how long she did nap for. We'll probably discontinue it pretty soon, but such a great app, and I believe it's free. I don't think I paid for it. One thing that we did very early on was get Lucy in the habit of having a pretty steady nighttime routine. By the time that Lucy's umbilical cord fell off and we were able to give her like a legit bath, we made sure that every single night, and I know people say you shouldn't be washing your newborn every single night, but we do, and hey, we've never had a problem. That's the same thing my mom did for myself and my sister, and we turned out fine. So we chose to do so with Lucy. She gets a bath every single night, and then she gets her little massage with her lotion. She relaxes when she does that. She would get her milk, and then she would go to sleep. Sometimes we would do a book before bed, but it's not something that it really stuck in a routine. Pretty much when it comes down to bedtime, she has a solid routine and she knows that it's going to be bedtime, and it really, really does help her unwind and get ready for that nighttime sleep. So I do highly, highly suggest getting your baby in some sort of bedtime routine, a routine in general. Babies, children, animals thrive off of routines. I always knew that once Lucy was going to start having solids, I wanted to introduce sign language to her. I am not a professional when it comes to sign language. I honestly only learned a few things so that way I can teach her so she could communicate with us since she wasn't speaking. We were teaching her all done when she was done eating, and when she wanted more, we taught her how to sign more. She did not pick that up right away. It took quite some time. I believe we introduced it to her about 6.5 months when she started having solids, and she didn't use it. I specifically remember one day I thought that it was somewhat of a waste because she was not using it at all, and I think it was just after she turned 1 that she actually started using those two signs, and she still uses it till this day. So I'm so happy that we were able to teach her that, and she picked it up, and now she does communicate with us when she's all done and when she wants more. It's actually super cute seeing her do those as well. Since I just finished talking about feeding, another thing that was very helpful is having a very, very low expectation when it came down to feeding her and her eating. Once we started solids, I followed a whole bunch of Instagram accounts that teach you like great tips when it comes down to feeding your little one, and they always say low expectations and to keep it very calm. I know it can be very stressful when it comes down to feeding your little one, worrying about whether or not they are having enough, but within the first year, their main source is milk. So solids is just extra, and that's just what I always told myself. Solids are extra. It's just to expose her to all these new different flavors, textures, and always have low expectations. She's not gonna sit down and have a full meal. She's learning how to eat all these new things because she only knew milk. That's all she ever knew. I try not to put any pressure. Even till this day, I give her her plate of food. She eats what she wants. She doesn't eat what she doesn't want, and it is what it is. When she lets me know that she's all done, I make sure to ask her if she's all done. I'll even offer it to her with my hand, and if she takes it, she'll continue eating a little bit more. If she doesn't want it, then she's done. Some days are better than others. Some days she will finish everything that's on her plate and ask for more. Other days she will barely make a dent on her plate. It is what it is. Our job is just to offer the baby food, and it's their job whether or not to eat it. And as I said, some days are better than others. Some days she won't eat anything, and then 15 minutes later she just keeps asking for snacks on snacks on snacks. It is what it is. I just make sure I don't let her go hungry. A lot of times if she doesn't finish her food, I will save it, put it aside, so when she is asking for her snacks, I will re-offer that, and a lot of times she will finish it. I try to remember not to put any pressure on her, because the more pressure I do put on her, she will totally refuse whatever I'm offering her, and it'll just make the whole mealtime a bad experience. I don't want her to have bad experiences when it comes down to eating. Low expectations. She knows what she's doing. She knows if she's hungry or not, and it just is what it is. Just after Lucy was born, I subscribed to Love Every. I have talked about this Play subscription quite a few times on my channel for a very good reason, and I'm so happy that we subscribed to it, and we're still subscribed to it till this day. It has made getting toys for her so easy. They do the job for you. They do a whole bunch of research, and all the toys you do receive every few months is targeted for your child's age, and it's just been so nice not having to look for specific toys for her, or like getting her a toy that she's not gonna care about like in a couple of days. She's been super interested in basically all of what they send, and she's learning, and it's so nice when she gets a new toy and doesn't know what to do, and then a few days later and knows how to actually play with it. It's so wonderful. I love their subscription kits, and I think it's so worth it. It also helps with me not wasting money on toys, so it keeps things very limited. I just look forward to every new kit that she's going to be getting. It's so much fun. Doing sensory play has been a lot of fun, and Lucy loves it. Whenever we're kind of in a rut at home and I don't know what to do with her, I can try to bring up some sort of sensory play activity for her, and it will keep her entertained for quite a while. Some days it's shorter than others, but she gets so excited playing with like different things. Like she loves the little grass from Easter baskets. That's like one of her favorites. Now that it's getting really warm, I brought out these little beads that you add into the water and then they just grow, and she loves those. She makes a huge mess with it, so we have to play with them outside. She just grabs it, scoops it up with a little measuring cup and throws it. She does whatever she wants, and it literally keeps her entertained for so long. It's really good. I feel like it helps her somewhat use her imagination, whether it makes sense or not. Like she's using her brain to play and do things with these things. Another activity that I really enjoyed creating for Lucy was getting Cocoa Pebbles and putting it in a little box and adding like little bunnies and little carrots that came with her subscription kit, and she was just like playing with them, hiding them, scooping them up. Again, really messy, but she loves it, and it kills time. She uses her brain, she uses her imagination. It's just, it sparks her creativity, right? There are so many more that we've had so much fun with creating. Foam, that one was a favorite of hers, and I haven't done it in a while, so I really should do that. Another thing that I do enjoy about the sensory activities is that it kind of exposes her to a lot of new texture. Like I said, the play foam that we made, a lot of kids don't like touching it. I know my friend's kid did not like touching like the foam, and she doesn't like touching like sand. Lucy loves it. Every kid is different, and that's okay, but Lucy just loves playing with all these textures and loves playing with like kinetic sand. I'm just rambling at this point, but sensory activities just really fun and kills a whole bunch of time. I highly recommend. You can look on Pinterest, and they have so many different ideas on what to do with your little one, and some of them are age specific as well. Another thing that really helped us was not reacting whenever Lucy fell. I thought this was going to be really hard, because when I was younger and whenever we were around kids, if a child would fall, I know I would automatically gasp and like, oh my god, and like freak out. And I learned that by freaking out, you're actually freaking out the kid themselves. So they react if you react. However, once Lucy started sitting up, crawling and whatnot, bumping her head into things, falling, it wasn't that hard not to react. I had to constantly remind others not to react because she might freak out, and she was never a kid that fell and started crying. So we got lucky there. It sounds very small, but it works. Even till this day, whenever she's running around and she falls, and Lucy falls a lot, she's a very wild child. She gets up, looks at me to see what my reaction is, and I will just look away, or I don't even pay attention to her, and she just continues off doing what she was doing. There has been times that she has fallen in relatives' houses and somebody reacts and she gets kind of overwhelmed. I think it just embarrasses her and comes running to either me or Rudy. Not reacting to when they fall or anything like that, I think works very well. I mean, bumps and falls are gonna happen no matter what. I just feel like you need to kind of watch how you react, because your child is gonna look up to you and see how you react, and their reaction will be based off of your reaction. Does that make sense? This next one kind of falls in the category of tantrums. Lucy's getting older, Lucy's having big feelings, and Lucy is starting to have tantrums. She doesn't know how to express herself. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know how to tell us how she's feeling. So I have noticed that when Lucy is having a tantrum or she's upset, whatever it may be, the best thing for me to do is to take a step back, let her feel what she's feeling in the moment, because in the past, if I've tried to intervene, if I tried to like hug her, make her feel better, or solve her problem, right in the middle of that tantrum, it can actually make it worse. So I have noticed that by taking a step back, let her feel whatever she's feeling. Once she starts to come down from that tantrum, she sometimes asks me for a hug, or that's when I will ask her if she needs a hug or if she needs help with something. And if she needs help with something, that's when she accepts my help. As I said, if I try to step in the middle of the tantrum and try to help her out with whatever she's doing, she will most likely get upset. So taking a step back, letting her feel whatever she's feeling. Once she starts to calm down, she can ask me for help, or I will offer the help. And it has been working out so much better. And it's just kind of a trial and error. You never know what's going to happen until you try something different. And that is what has been working out for Lucy and myself. And the last thing I'm going to be touching on is having Lucy participate in things. Lucy's only getting older, and she sees everything that Rudy and myself does. She is very curious, always has been, and she wants to participate in basically everything we do. If we're doing dishes, she wants to be there. A lot of the times after dinner, Rudy will wash dishes, and she has her tower. She will push it towards the sink so that way she can participate and help him. Even though she makes a mess most of the times, it's okay. The fact that she feels like she's doing it and being involved is all that matters. Same thing goes with laundry. She loves doing laundry. I think I've already mentioned that before. The other day I was doing her laundry, and I had everything set in her hamper on the ground, and we were going to put the clothes to dry, and before I knew it, she was already putting all her clothes in the dryer. Like, it's so bittersweet seeing that stuff and seeing your baby like know how to do these things. Like, it's just super wild. Another thing is, Rudy has kind of given her a little chore. She will help him prepare the dog's food, and every day she will serve it to them, and when they're done, she will pick it up and she will walk herself to the sink and tosses it in the sink. It is so precious. She just loves participating. It helps her self-confidence. It just makes her so happy. She even wants us to clap for her after she does that stuff. So it just really boosts her self-confidence, and it's just super sweet. Highly recommend giving the tiniest tasks or chores, whatever you want to call it, to your little one, and you will see how much that actually like makes them glow of excitement. The best feeling ever as a parent, to see your little one be so proud of themselves. I really hope this video made sense and I wasn't just all over the place. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really look forward to creating more content for you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe like always, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.